a group of businessmen came to see me to ask about the currency. And in spite of the assurances given by the government, the reality on the ground is there is a shortage. That's the reality. If people can't, the market is not clearing for one reason or another. It's either the banks are hoarding the currency, and if that is so, they should be identified which bank is doing so, or there is a shortage. There is a mismatch between supply and demand. And it's as simple as that. Once you have a queue, something is wrong there. So the attempt to assure the country without dealing with the reason for the queue in the banking system now, when people go and they can't get as little as $2,500, $3,000 they can't get. They have to join a line. And there is a problem there. And the government needs to take its head out of the sand, because it's been there for a long time, and address these issues, many of these issues. We have not yet seen the full pass-through of the large number of taxes that they have imposed in the last budget, and those will have a huge impact on cost of living and further disincentive to growth and development. I've seen the head of SARU again sticking his mouth into the public debate, and so now the latest position is that they're mapping all the tall buildings in Georgetown to see people's sources of income, and that the central bank somehow was deficient because it did not look at the flow through of money through the banking system, and because they did not do due diligence on customers, the central bank and the commercial banks. Well, this gentleman has a tendency to call figures off the top of his head. Do you recall just after they took office, in fact, just before that, he spoke about nearly $500 million of illicit flows, and that it attributed it to government corruption. Now, I would like to see what the figure for illicit flows, or the figures for illicit flows are today. Because if it was attributable to corruption in the past, it has to be attributable to the same reason today. But he called a figure because he extracted it from some website. You'd recall the same gentleman speaking with Gulsaran about how 28 to 35% of the money for public procurement was stolen through procurement fraud. That runs into over $40 billion, given the size of our procurement budget. It's gone quiet on that. And now he's been talking about illegal money in our banking system. And somebody should ask him, have you quantified this? Or is it just you talking nonsense again? And the reason why I am so upset with this, the president needs to look at this, that these loose-mouthed people are damaging our economy. The business community and ordinary citizens operate on signals. If the entire government speaks as though it hates investments and investors, and if you put up a building, you'll be subjected to a whole range of scrutiny by the government. they're just going to withdraw. They're not going to invest. They're not going to want to, they're not going to have confidence in our economy. I hope that the president curbs all these people who are damaging the prospects for our economy. So what's the logic of a tall building? So assuming you have 1 5-story building or 50 1-story building, what's the logic of this? And also he's going to map the 1 5-story building that you have and you're subjected to investigation when another person has 50 properties around the city, but they're not tall buildings. There's no logic to it. And this was the person who was on the board of directors of Globe Trust when it collapsed. And if anything, when the central bank wrote the Globe Trust about the insolvency of that institution, they continue to take depositors' money, small people's money. He has no clue about managing the economy, and he's damaging the prospects for Guyana and for our people, the creation of jobs, income, and a future that we all would like to share, a future of increased prosperity. And I do hope that the president looks into this. I said it before. I said that sometimes you can get everything right, but if the signals are wrong about your intent, then people act on signals. And investors do so, as well as ordinary citizens. And so I don't have much hope that they would listen because of the arrogance of some of these people, some of them in government. They don't listen to the concerns of ordinary people. They wouldn't walk around the markets anymore. They used to when they were campaigning. No longer walk around the markets anymore and listen to the concerns of ordinary people.